Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with my Targa GT27 designed by Tanfoglio, and it's got a long, interesting history, so we're going to talk about the history, we're going to talk about where I got this gun from, talk about the specs, and talk about what I thought about shooting it. So first and foremost, I want to tell you guys where I got this. I got this from Freedom Firearms and Tactical in Lamar, Missouri. I bought these online. I bought this with the Bursa that I just recently did a video on. The guys there were really awesome. The prices were really good. The products that I got were really high quality. I really enjoyed it. So if you're thinking about picking something up or just maybe have a little bit of extra cash and you don't know how you want to spend it, go ahead, look at the website, maybe look at Facebook for Freedom Firearms and Tactical. I've been really happy with the entire process. So in 1962, Tanfoglio, a good Italian company, came up with the design of the GT27. And they started importing them into the United States, and they were doing really well with them. And then unfortunately for all the parties involved, the Firearm Control Act of 1968 banned guns like this from being able to come into the country. But everybody saw how good the product was, so they partnered with Tanfoglio, started importing the slides and the barrel and the parts, and then just a company called XAM started making ZMAC frames, zinc alloy frames, and then they would just assemble them here when they got to the United States, and the Targa is one of those. You'll see all of these, well, maybe not all of them, but most of them end up still having Tanfoglio written on the slide, the Titan name, the Targa name. There's a couple of other names that come out. Usually it's called a GT27. Look for these guns. They're all going to have the Tanfoglio barrel, Tanfoglio slide, and then they're just going to be high quality firearms. I do like the fact that this came with a box that ends up having the serial number on it. I love the warnings telling me to read my manual and that I need to go talk to a professional about how to handle this firearm. I don't have a professional here and I don't have the manual. I do have the box though, and so we're going to have to figure this out. So hopefully we're going to be able to keep safe. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that the gun is unloaded. You'll see that this 6-round detachable box magazine was empty, and I did not have a last round hold open. So again, you're going to have the zinc alloy frame, you're going to have a steel slide, steel barrel, single action only. Does come with a safety, which will prevent the trigger from being able to drop, and then it is a single action, and it does not have a magazine disconnect safety. When you put the gun in your hand, you can kind of get 2 fingers on it, a lot better than the Walther Model 9 that I was playing with and ended up absolutely hating, so that's just me. Let's go ahead and talk about the specs of this gun. So if you look on the web, like if you look on Wikipedia, they'll say that it has a 7-round magazine. Mine fires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds, and then you'll have that 7th one on top, but the box told me only 6, so I've only been loading up to 6 rounds. 25 ACP is not an inexpensive bullet, so I don't want to end up with a bunch of jams, so take that for what it's worth. The overall length is 4.58 inches. The barrel length is 2.5 inches. The width comes in at 0.875 inches. The height is 3.625 inches. And the overall weight is 11.7 ounces unloaded. You'll see with these guns, because they're manufactured, the frame's manufactured by one company and the slide and the barrel's another, you'll see that there's usually a difference in the finish on the frame and the slide. If you happen to be at a gun show, pawn shop, and you see one where the frame isn't, take a magnet and see if it will stick to the frame, and you may have one of those Tanfoglio ones that were imported. The Tanfoglio ones had an original steel frame on them. They come with these plastic wraparound grips. It does have a heel release. The trigger is not very good, but because you get a good purchase and because the ergonomics are pretty good on it, you know, it's doable. You can definitely deal with it. The trigger reset's long. The sights are a trough in the rear and a very small no contrast on that front sight. I will tell you, this gun was not designed for, distance shooting. Because the Goat Whisperer's Ranch has so much steel, I did shoot this gun at 20 yards, and while my accuracy was much lower, probably closer to that 70%, 80% accuracy, you still can get some hits on this. My buddy Oscar, who's a little bit new to the gun community, he shot this and he was probably at 50 to 60% at 20 yards, so that's pretty good. I did get decent accuracy when I was shooting at 7 yards. You know, that's not awful accuracy. You know, I would have preferred if I wasn't pulling so many shots and I had a little bit of a flyer here. But you can get some decent accuracy with this gun if you want to. So when you hear people talk about these little 25s being terrible and you can't hit anything and they're only belly guns, you can get a little bit more accuracy. Now, with a box of 25 ACP costing $35, it's not going to be an inexpensive gun to train with, but it's a lot of fun. 25 ACP still has some recoil, a little bit more than 22 does, and it's a lot of fun to shoot at the range. So let's go ahead and put the gun on safe. Let's cock the hammer and let's show you guys how you disassemble this firearm. So obviously we don't have the magazine in. I've done like 4 or 5 times making sure the gun is clear. How you disassemble it is put the safety on the safe position. You're going to pull the slide back and then lift up off the slide. Once you do that, and of course when I'm going to do that on the camera, there we go, the slide will come right off the top. You will have a recoil spring and guide rod that's not captive, and you've got your gun. It is a blowback system pinned in here. You will see that there are Italian proof marks on here, so that's how you know it is an Italian barrel. You're going to have your ejector right there. It does come with an extractor, and the gun's disassembled. Do keep an eye out on the safety / disassembly lever. That will just slide out once you have the gun disassembled, so don't lose that piece. To reassemble, it's just the same thing in reverse. Put in the recoil spring and guide rod. Then you're going to want to get the spring attached to this hole right here on the slide. It's not too hard to do, but you just have to kind of keep an eye on it. And then just pull the slide back. Put the gun off of safe. Double check that you didn't accidentally chamber around. Pull the trigger. Put the safety on. Pull the hammer back. Make sure that the safety is functioning the way it's supposed to. And you've got a reassembled pistol. I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a huge high hopes for this gun because I'd heard so many bad things about this gun, and all of that was completely wrong. I mean, I may have gotten the only Targa that's ever run effectively, but mine did not have a single failure whatsoever. And once I shot it a little bit and started understanding the sights and understanding how to grip the gun, it was just an absolute pleasure to shoot, and I actually got pretty good accuracy with it as well. A lot of people will dog on 25 and say that it's a terrible cartridge, and I will say that it is pretty expensive for what you get for it, but I would have no problem having this as a backup gun. Now, I would prefer to have a 9mm handgun, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of 380s are in blowback, and the guns are so unpleasant to shoot that people get scared and lose so much accuracy. If you're going to train with this gun and you're going to be able to hit where you want to hit and be able, you know, that kind of accuracy, you could hit a headshot with that. You know, if this is going to be the thing that you can shoot really, really accurately with you, I don't think you're bad having this as a backup firearm. And I got this gun for $125 after I paid shipping and FFL fees, so they're not that expensive. And if you're getting that kind of reliability, you know, this isn't a bad firearm. So if you're thinking about picking one of these up, or if you found this in Grandpa's sock drawer and you're thinking about taking it out to the range, I think you're going to really enjoy this firearm. So I do want to thank you guys for supporting the channel. All the likes, the comments, the shares are really appreciated. And as always, you stay classy, YouTube.
I learned a lesson. Never half-ass 2 things. Whole-ass 1 thing.